Here's an issue that we've been trying to solve in our BMW 435i project. Now, going down the road 70 miles an hour, it's pretty quiet and comfortable, even for a car with a roll bar, no back seat, and 200 tread wear tires. But watch what happens and listen to what happens when we put these windows down. That's right, it's very loud, it's very buffety, and there's a lot of wind flapping around inside here. Now that gets even worse on track. At Daytona International Speedway, when I'm going 130, 140 miles an hour, it moves me around so much that I've got to brace my head against the seat just so I can see straight. Let's close these windows back up so we can chat. Now what's actually happening there is a phenomenon called aerodynamic buffeting. And while this may seem like a comfort and convenience thing, it's actually significant on track, as I just mentioned, that at faster tracks, it actually affects my vision. So after asking around a little bit to find out what we could do about this problem, we talked to 034 Motorsport, and they suggested a couple of their aerodynamic wind deflectors. Now, these are only $14, and they're little pieces of plastic that stick onto your window frames. It seems like a very simple solution. So we wanted to get a professional opinion, so we talked to another friend of ours, Steve Stafford. Now, Steve is a professional aerodynamicist for the race team of a major OEM manufacturer. Now, I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but you can probably figure it out from the shirt he's wearing. So we got Steve's opinion on just what's going on here, what this phenomenon is, and if these little pieces of plastic can actually do something to fix it. And I guess the best place to start, though, is just what is buffeting? Like, what is this, you know, I know what it is from the experience, but what are the physical principles behind what I am feeling inside the car?
Right. So there's a couple of analogies that probably describe it best. One is blowing over the top of like an open Coke bottle or something like that, and you get a whistling noise, so you get that harmonic. You're basically doing the same thing with the cabin of a car when you open one window or multiple windows a little bit, so you get that kind of weird edge blowing effect that creates a harmonic chamber out of the cabin.
Okay.
So that's, and it's low enough frequency, it doesn't come across as a whistle so much as you feel it in your ears rather than hear it. Right.
So it's actually like a pressure wave that's producing right inside the car, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why does it seem that this has gotten, I mean, maybe it's just me, but it seems like, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, cars didn't do this as bad, and now they are much worse when you open the windows. Is that accurate? And if so, why?
It's absolutely accurate, and the manufacturers all spend a fair amount of time trying to get noise reduced and to reduce drag. But they do all of their development work with the windows up, and they've moved from the 70s and 80s and the 90s, started moving away from actual external rain gutters and things like that, drip guards around the windows that had very sharp, distinct edges. And now everything is very smooth and flush, and the windows are all flush to the outside or really close to it. So you've got a really smooth body on the outside that produces really good airflow, reduced noise, better drag. But as soon as you crack that window, you wind up with that weird step, that edge that isn't designed around.
So you're actually using those side windows as aerodynamic devices, and when you take those away suddenly, you've drastically changed things. Okay.
What it's doing is, instead of having that trip edge right at the window edge where the glass would normally seal, this is going to move that separation away from the body of the car a little bit.
Okay.
Right. So it's going to lift it off the body of the car, however thick the back edge of that triangle is. Right. So that vortex, instead of being right where the window meets the A-post, is going to be off the body a half an inch or whatever that thickness is.
Okay.
And by doing so, it's going to shift that vortex further away from the window, which means a little bit less impact inside the cabin. So it's going to basically spread the load around a little bit.
So to visualize how the air is actually moving around the car, we've just taped some yarn on the car. Now this is a technique that's been around for thousands of years when people had been experimenting with aerodynamics in those days before wind tunnel access was easier than it is today. And it just helps you visualize how the air is moving, or in our case, how the air is buffeting. We can see when we open both windows how it moves, and we can see when we close our passenger window how it changes a little bit and how the air changes moving around that pillar. And that's where a lot of our buffeting is coming from. These pressure waves that are moving in and out of the car and resonating in our ears. We're feeling it in our bodies. And we actually saw such powerful buffeting at Daytona Speedway that it changed the orientation of our inside rear view mirror. That's how violently the air was moving around in here and how violently that pressure wave was reacting to the inside of this car. So Steve suggested above the mirror but below the curb, and we really only have sort of one piece of real estate in here that matches that description, and we've prepped our area by wiping it off with a little bit of alcohol, and we're just going to peel and stick and then go back out and see if these things are actually doing what they are supposed to do. So that's all it took. It's a 2-minute modification. It's a $14 part. Now we head back out on the road and see if it does what it's supposed to do. So we're pulling back onto the highway to do our after testing. Now, according to Steve, he should know what he's talking about. He said they're gonna do something. They're actually gonna control the airflow a little bit better, and you should notice an improvement. Well, so we've got our string back there stuck to the back of our deflectors, and we're just going to roll this window down and see what happens. Okay, that's pretty cool. We can actually see, even though we're right next to a truck, we can actually see that the airflow behind these deflectors is a lot calmer and a lot straighter. There's a lot less turbulence coming around that window frame into the car, and to my ear anyway, it's quieter. Both windows open now, slightly more turbulence visually maybe, but still really calm. It's pretty cool being able to see that visually have an effect, and to my ear anyway, I'm getting a lot less action inside the car here. So, is this 2-minute, $14 modification going to make your car faster? Well, it's not necessarily a performance mod, but it absolutely, I believe now, is a driver mod. And I am big on driver mods. I mean, having the right seat is important. Having the right relationship between the steering wheel, the pedals, the seat, and everything you do in the car is important. And not having your head slap back and forth in between the seat bolsters is also very important, because it's going to let you focus on the business you should be doing, which is the business of driving. Good vision is very important. Good comfort is very important. So yeah, this is absolutely worth the time and effort, which is minimal, and it's a big payoff. I think I can't wait to get this car back out on a fast track like Daytona or Sebring and see exactly how much better it is at those super extra legal highway speeds that we can't really test today. But I bet it's going to be a big deal, especially breaking into turn 1 at Daytona, where just seeing that braking point and seeing your way into that corner at above 150 miles an hour is so important. Thanks to 034 Motorsport for turning us on to this very simple and very inexpensive mod. Now, these fit great on our BMW, but they are fairly universal and will fit on nearly any car with window frames that you can stick these onto. You can check them out at 034motorsport.com. And thanks to Steve Stafford for giving us some of the tech background as to what this very simple, very inexpensive mod is actually doing. Hey, folks, if you like the stuff we are doing here at Grassroots Motorsports, you can check us out on the web as well at grassrootsmotorsports.com. You'll be able to hook up with readers just like yourself on our message board, have full access to all the content, not only the web exclusive content, but all the content from the print magazine as well. And before you go, do me a favor, go right down to the bottom here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You will get first crack at all of the content we are putting here on YouTube. We appreciate you coming by, and we can't wait to see you next time at the track.
Want to see more content like this? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And for more information, visit us online at grassrootsmotorsports.com.